I'm not Gendry Rivers anymore. I'm Gendry Baratheon, Lord of Storm's End, by order of the Queen.
Congratulations.
I don't know how to be Lord of anything. I hardly know how to use a fork. All I know is that you're beautiful, and I love you, and none of it will be worth anything if you're not with me. So be with me. Be my wife. Be the Lady of Storm's End.
You'll be a wonderful lord. And any lady would be lucky to have you. But I'm not a lady. I never have been. That's not me.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, The Mirror Image. My name is Catherine Simone and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones, and that is Arya Stark. Now if you don't already know, I was a huge Game of Thrones fan, and one of the characters that really stood out to me was Arya Stark, and I'm going to explain a bit of that to you right now. Now, if you're not a fan of the show, don't feel like you can't get anything from this, because I'm going to connect it back the best way I can without any real spoilers to the show if you want to go watch it later. So let's get right into it. So what I first love about the character Arya is when we first meet her as a little child, she already has a sense of who she wants to be. And you start to see that right in the onset when she outdoes her brother Bran in archery. Even though it wasn't necessarily ladylike and her parents might have frowned upon it, she wore that as a badge of honor. She wanted to be a warrior from the beginning. So the fact that she has a really good, strong idea of who she is and what she wants to do is very telling of her character, even from the beginning. Even after that, within the first season, we see her having the butcher's boy teach her how to sword fight. She wanted to learn. And even though, again, this is frowned upon, she went out and she did what she wanted to do and walked in her truth. So this is one of the things that really stands out about Arya, even outside of all the other characters in the show. Arya knows who she is and the image she wants to portray to the world. We also see that she takes a more active role in becoming the warrior she sees herself as. One of the first things we see her do is align herself with people who truly see who she is. People like her brother, Jon Snow, her father, Eddard Stark, Jack in a Car, the Hound. All of these people serve a purpose in her life by seeing her as the warrior she wants to be. They all take turns in training her and teaching her how to be the best at that, instead of trying to make her refocus on being the Lady of Winterfell or anybody's lady. So they help to bring out the best in her and connect her further to herself. Another thing we see Arya do, outside of aligning herself with people who truly see and respect the person that she is that she also goes out and actively learns her craft. So she takes lessons from everything. There's a season where she even takes a lesson from her enemies. She pays attention to everything that's going on. She takes it all in and she applies it where it's necessary. Not saying that every opinion or every idea that someone gave her worked perfectly for her, but she at least accepted it and learned how to use it to the best of her abilities, or to work for her in the best case scenario. That's something that I really admired about the character, because not only do you see her knowing who she wants to be, but you see her actively pursuing that goal and going for it. Whenever Arya's challenged by someone else who thinks that she should be a lady or tell her the type of person she should be, she always shuts it down, like, immediately.
No. That's not me. That's not you. That's not me.
So with all of that being said, what can we, outside of the TV, learn from a character like Arya? Well, one thing I do want to point out is that not everybody's going to know exactly who they want to be right in the onset of their life. Arya is a character, so of course they've made her a little bit more one-dimensional than most people usually are. And for a lot of us, it takes some time for us to get an idea of who we want to be or the type of image we want to represent. However, when you do get a sense of where you want to go and the goals that you have that you want to achieve, then you need to start taking some of the Arya steps into getting you into those goals. Number one, surround yourself with like-minded people or people who just get you. You shouldn't have to spend most of your time explaining to people that are around you who you are and what you are trying to do, especially on a regular basis. Like, you might have to meet somebody and just, get them to get an understanding of the kind of things you want to accomplish. But if every day you have to tell somebody, no, that's not what I like to do, no, that's not who I am, no, that's not what I want, you might be around the wrong people. And that's not to say that you need to just cut off all your family and friends cold turkey, but that you need to limit sometimes what you tell certain people and align yourself with people who understand it a little better. So, you can tell your family some things, but not all things, because they won't get it. But then when you have this friend who's on the same path as you or kind of understand where you're coming from, then it's easier to be a little bit more open and honest with them than you would maybe a family member who just doesn't get it. Number two, you should start perfecting your craft. Just like I talked about with Arya and the lessons that she learned and how she kept trying to do better and be better as a warrior, you need to do the same thing. If that means taking extra classes or going to seminars or reading books or whatever you need to do to align with the goals you have in mind, you have to keep working on yourself. I don't care how old you get. I don't care how long you've been in school. The process never stops. So as long as the world is growing, you need to be growing. Number three, don't be afraid to learn from unconventional sources. And what I mean by that is, don't be afraid to take information from someone or something that you think doesn't have the right information for you. Let me explain that a little bit further. So often we get caught up in the idea that there's this one type of person who's going to give us the right information. For example, I know a couple people who feel like only a businessman can give them a hint on an idea about their business. And while a businessman's advice is going to be very, very much appreciated, sometimes you get little bits of advice from people you don't even think would have that information. That's why it's important to be open to everybody around you and to take in what you can. For instance, if we put this in the place of Arya learned a big portion of her training from the Hound. The Hound was originally somebody who was on her list to kill. And somewhere along the line, they built a friendship and they were able to teach and learn to love each other. She would have never thought that right off the bat. It took her having to be in a situation of learning with him to really fully take that all in. So you have to align yourself with people who are going to embrace who you really are, but at the same time, you have to take in information from a little bit of everybody. Like I said before earlier, she also got good advice from one of her other enemies who didn't even know who she was when they were giving the advice to her. Whatever you do, don't cut off people because you don't think that their advice doesn't matter because they're not on a certain level. Granted, you want to take everything you learn and put it in perspective and make it work for you, but know that information can come from any source. Number four, don't be afraid to mess up along the way. In the show, Arya makes a lot of mistakes. From killing in bravos without permission to walking around with a certain kind of arrogance when she had a known assassin looking for her. She let her guard down a lot. She didn't pay attention to the signs, and she got a little cocky from time to time, which we all do. When certain things start to go right in our lives, then we start to think that we're on top of the world, and we forget about all the little things in the background that need to continue to go. And that can cause a rift in our progression and us reaching our goals. But what you do once you hit that speed bump is you learn from it. You don't let it stop you. So in the case of Arya, she was able to defeat the assassin by paying attention to the fact that she had to be alert. She was not untouchable, and these people were looking for her. When it came to the people that she killed in Bravos that she wasn't supposed to, her sight was taken away from her, and she had to learn how to fight without being able to see. And it helped her better along the way. So don't think that because you messed up that you've all of a sudden just failed and you need to give up. No, you need to step back, reassess, and restart from there. That's how you learn and grow and become better each and every day. The number 5 trick I want to give that's like Arya is don't be afraid to tell people who you are.
Finally, a girl is Noah.
A girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell.
When you have decided to take a certain step in your life to reach a certain goal, you shout it from the mountaintops. Don't let people discourage you or tell you it's a bad idea or tell you why it's stupid or whatever the other people may say to kind of discourage you from reaching a goal. A lot of the time, the people that do that don't have any goals in mind for themselves that they want to reach. So it's easier to attack you for thinking you know. If you think you know, you know. Wear it as a badge of honor. All throughout the show, all we hear is Arya saying, I am Arya Stark. This is what I am. That's not me. All of this stuff because she knows who she is and she's not going to lose that for anyone. Even for a moment when she thought she would, she stepped back and said, no, this is who I am. Be you any and every way you can. Shout it from the mountaintops. I am Arya Stark or Catherine Simone or whoever it is that you feel that you are. Don't let anybody take that away from you. I know the Game of Thrones show was a little disappointing for a lot of people. I'm one of those people. The ending was not great for me. But throughout the whole process of the show, I did like what they did with her character and how they progressed it. How they showed this girl being true to herself along this path of all this craziness and how it ended up being the best thing for her in the end. And out of all of the characters that we have in this show, she's the one that stands out the most to me as someone I would want to continue to watch. And I do mean all of them because some of them I'm just over with. I'm done with you. So when you're looking at someone like Arya, you need to take in consideration the strength and the knowledge and the faith that it takes to be you 100%. There's nothing wrong with falling down, with changing your mind, with making mistakes. But along that whole journey, you need to be true to yourself and your goals. Take that and run with it. Shout it from the mountaintops. Be whoever it is you need to be to get to wherever it is you want to go. That is all I want to say in this video. If you have not watched Game of Thrones yet, I'm going to suggest you need to watch it. At least the first 6 seasons. 7 and 8. You could just leave that alone. Nothing significant good happens there. But the first 6 seasons will really rock your world. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in another week. Bye.